reason I asked is because my wife and I, we got down there and we donated money to help somebody find out who did it.
Right.
Well, everybody knows pretty much who did it. Are they going to do anything about it? No. Will they ever do anything about it? Probably not. For your question, there's a lot of things like that goes on in this county that nobody cares about, or they just drop the issue. Stick your head in the sand, it's going to go away.
Well, that's part of what this organization should be about, is issues that bother the local, ordinary folks, Joe Blow on the street.
But we need somebody that
we need to be able to discuss it.
We need somebody that we can thump if that doesn't happen. I mean,
obviously. So,
just need a name. I'm sure we can find a lot of thumpers.
Jerry?
Can I make a couple comments? When you were talking about the Federal Reserve, if anybody recall their history, in the 1830s, Andrew Jackson beat back
a central bank.
The central bank idea.
He said,
just because of that reason, because the bankers would get control of everything. That was in the 1830s, right? Wait a minute.
Oh, sorry.
I got 10 more things.
You want the mic, Jerry?
No.
Jerry, I gotta wait until we're commissioners together.
Here's some, when he's talking about Austrian economics, this is a pillar of free economics. And if you would read a book called Road to Serfdom by Friedrich Hayek, Hayek, he wrote this like 50 or 60 years ago. And he talks about all of these things happening. And if you violate basic economics, you're going to pay the piper eventually. And this is what we've been doing.
Yeah, they're just floating the bubble to make it last longer.
Instead of buying boats, we have to stick to the basic economics, that rule.
Another source for that information is Money Master Company, too. Outstanding.
Yeah, there's some outstanding videos.
Oh, it's a documentary made 10, 15 years ago. So it's,
The Money Masters.
It hits all those points.
Another one is what is that? Aaron Russo's movie.
Freedom to Fascism?
Freedom to Fascism.
But I would suggest
I'm
Money
telling
is
you
bad
this.
as a good introductory to
I'm
the
telling you
banking
this
system.
because
It's
my
kind of
daughter
simple.
gave me another degree in economics.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
It was through her that I got a lot of this information, and it's really, really cool. Okay, then, the basic principles we have to operate by, we're talking about free markets, individual responsibility, respect for private property, and the other one is rule of law. And from one end of the county to the other, I hear this, these are, in the small towns, it's like the rule of law is breaking down, the procedure. It's like, whether you want to call it the good old boy network, or that ain't so bad, or this or that.
There is no procedure.
It's like you have to follow a rule of law to have an ordered society so everybody can live secure. And this was the basics of...
Precisely. There's no real reason.
The rule of law is like breaking down here in rural America.
Yeah.
And
there's no real reason why anybody in Lincoln County should have to fear for their safety,
no.
especially from any federal agent.
Yeah, I don't care from what political spectrum you're at. You should be able to live. This is our country, and we're supposed to allow all kinds of divergent views without retribution. As long as they're done from the heart. Well,
freedom is popular, regardless of your political affiliation. Ron Paul proved that. Freedom is popular. And as long as we realize that what freedom is all about is not necessarily to use that freedom as a cloak for malice, but to buy us the time to discuss each and every one of these issues and arrive at a solution, or maybe agree to disagree. But that's what freedom is for. It buys us a little time to get to the root cause and the truth of every issue. That's where we're at. Jenny?
Did Diane get her answer? I want to know that because I'll tell you why, Paul. I've been asked to go to the commission meeting for Cookie Hadel and for this lady, and I'm going to go to that. Now, I'm very busy, but the last commission meeting was canceled. So
Okay.
Our commission meetings, you never know if they're there or not.
There's only one.
It's important to attend those in person also.
There's only one thing that politicians still fear, folks, and that's public opinion.
Yes, and to support these people that need supporting.
When you expose their secret backdoor stuff to the light of public opinion or public scrutiny, things happen.
The third Wednesday of every month, there's a commission meeting. It's supposed to be a commission meeting over here in Eureka. part of the deal. The rest of them are over in Libby. They start at 10 o'clock. That's basically what it's, and elected officials do not have to have, is this right, Alvin? You do not, you make your own time, but I don't know the law on that, but, you know, 8 to 5 is a good time for me, but they do 10, maybe not. So, the 5th, is it, Diane? The 15th. The 15th is it? Okay.
So Diane, have you identified any particular public official that should have the responsibility to do something about this?
Yes, sir, I have.
What's his name?
Sheriff Anderson.
Sheriff Anderson. I challenged Sheriff Anderson to come to this meeting today and didn't get a response.
At this point in time, we have identified a number of areas where he is in direct violation of Montana Code statutes in his job description, also violation of Code of Ethics of the Sheriff's Department. And we'll be meeting with Cookie, and we're going to see what we can do to put together all of the proper documentation that will be needed to force a recall.
Okay? And go ahead.
Has anybody here needed the services of the sheriff in the last month or so? How long was the response time?
I haven't heard from him. I've been here 50 years, so in the last 10 years, this has happened many times, not only by my commissioners, and I will go in front of them and say that I will testify to this, and my sheriff, and my lieutenant, or whatever.
I was just curious if I was the only one with that problem.
No, I have the same thing,
Go ahead, Joel.
constantly.
The reason why we have all this breakdown happening is because we have criminals at the top doing what they're doing, and they're getting away and have gotten away with what they've done. And it's filtered all the way on down now to each one of us. And we are the ones that are getting the brunt of it. And we cannot, and they push everything onto us, the brunt of the load of this country, which is not and should not be on the citizens. And we find almost everywhere that the local police and the sheriffs are all coerced by federal government to not to answer to the people's needs and to do the bidding of the federal government. And that's what's been happening. And you can't get anything in justice done. And that's why this Rex 84 project is full swing on the way. Does anybody know the history of the concentration camps and the Rex 84 project in this country? What's been going on? You can find this out. There's lots on the internet. There's lots of books too. But a lot of the German generals under Hitler were not prosecuted for their war crimes. And the same happened. The same with some of the Russians. And these guys were brought over in this country by our federal government without the citizens knowing about it. And now they have their tentacles, their family heirs who are here, who have gotten into our government, and they are doing exactly what they did over there in Germany right before World War II, and to the other countries that were over there, and the same thing in Russia. And we've got these guys, and these other guys their influence in this country here has changed our government for the people, against the people. And you can find all this in history. And what has happened is now, have you ever heard of IG Farben in the news? That's a German company that has large contracts with this government making prison camps in this country. Now, why is that? Well, because they're doing the exact same thing they did exactly before World War II to its own citizens, where it's happening right here. So,
And they're doing this under the premise of domestic terrorism?
right, that's right. And then you've got all these federal organizations now that are now, everybody else is a terrorist, and they're the ones creating the terror acts. They've hired these mercenaries. They're in our country now, and they're under the NORTHCOM, which is the Homeland Security and Northern Command.